Oh, I don't fucking think so.
Welcome to Straight Reviews, where there's no bullshit beyond the sign. I'd show you some shrinking scenes, but ST and Maple haven't figured that one out yet. That's right, we're talking about Ant-Man.
Based on Tales to Astonish, Ant-Man is the final movie of Phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The movie was in development hell since the first Avengers movie for 3 reasons.
1. Because Edgar Wright, while a good filmmaker, dropped out because he did not want Ant-Man to be tied to the cinematic universe, which caused some debate among the fans, much of which on the side of Wright. As much as I like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, I actually agree with the studios on it. When you're trying to conceive a film that's meant to tie into the other films, and the director is being pouty on how he wants the film to be done, it's no wonder he left, you selfish son of a bitch! 2. When Age of Ultron was being made, there was some debate on whether or not to introduce Hank Pym, the first Ant-Man, as a nod to the fact that he, instead of Stark, created Ultron in the comics. They, of course, said no, which pissed off more comic fans, including, but not limited to, the guy who wrote the Game of Thrones books. You're pretty okay with killing every character you created, and yet when someone messes with your favorite reading materials, it's suddenly not okay? You hypocritical sack of shit. Why do they keep cutting me off? Oh well. 3, because they thought it would fail. Yeah, I didn't really have high hopes for this film either, and wasn't really a fan of Ant-Man. Casting Phoebe's boyfriend didn't really change much for me either, but when I saw the trailers I got curious.
Out of all the stuff in the sci-fi genre, shrinking movies are the most rare of them all, and only a few grab our attention.
It's not from lack of trying, but many people wonder how you can tell a fantastic story about someone 3/4 of an inch tall and make it look believable. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, for example, simply opted to make the most mundane props look bigger. But let's take a look at Ant-Man. There will be spoilers.
The film begins in 1989, where the first Ant-Man, Hank Pym, is pissed off at S.H.I.E.L.D. for trying to replicate his formula. He especially states that as long as he is alive, no one will get his hands on it.
Yeah, because it's not like Hawkeye will eventually use it for something. Hey Hawkeye, how's that Million Arrow project going?
It then cuts to the present day where burglar Scott Lang just got released from jail. After being rejected by his ex-wife and her cop husband, who goes through great lengths to make sure he never sees his daughter Cassie again.
I'm sorry, I gotta stop here. I get they're trying to convey that because he is a criminal, they instantly hate him. But when I saw that scene, they seemed to act like jerks to him on his daughter's birthday, no less. Not to mention, pretty much giving him hoops that are completely impossible for him. Maggie, for example, tells Lang to get a job. First off, he did have a job. He worked at Baskin Robbins, a funny yet tragic scene where he gets fired for being an ex-con. I would say that they were just being ignorant of how difficult his struggle since leaving jail is, due to their resentment of him. But she's married to a cop. Even a cop would know that an ex-con, especially one who's been in jail for theft, mind you, would have a difficult time finding work. And the reason I'm complaining about it, I'll get to later. But the fact that the boss at Baskin Robbins, complete stranger I might add, has more respect for him than his own family is even more sad to say the least.
Anywho, we cut back to Hank, who has a problem. Darren Cross, the new CEO of his company Pymtech, is trying to recreate the Pym particle, the thing that causes the shrinking tech for Ant-Man, which he plans to sell to the highest bidder. So Hank, along with his daughter Hope, set their plan in motion to stop him. Scott gets back to the life of crime when his friend Luis informs him of a rich man's old safe with apparently enough wealth and valuables for him to use as support for Cassie. However, upon opening the safe, he discovers, to his disappointment, the Ant-Man suit.
To be fair, he didn't know what was in that safe at the time, and he even stole it for curiosity's sake. However, if he knew who Pym was beforehand, much like the comic version of him, he would have used the suit for burglaries.
After getting arrested after a test run of the suit, Hank and Hope recruit him, and he becomes the new Ant-Man. Cross catches wind of their plans and puts on the Yellow Jacket's suit, which uses an unstable version of the Pym particle as its power to fight Mono a Monster. He defeats Cross by going subatomic, a technique that apparently killed the Wasp, but comes out of it and even gets to see his daughter in the end.
This was the only part that bothered me about the movie. Maggie and Paxton go through great lengths to hurt Lang due to his criminal past, yet now that he's a superhero and working for one of the richest, most powerful scientists in the world, they like him again? I'm sorry, these guys are assholes. Don't get me wrong, they do try to give them redeeming factors, such as assuring their daughter that their dad will see them again, and even trying to protect her from Yellow Jacket at some points in the movie, but they're still assholes. It's like the movie Swordfish, only they don't die at the end. If Lang lost his job, again, they would have treated him like they did before. But, that aside, this was a great movie with a great story. The visual effects are phenomenal. By taking the most mundane things, such as looking into a computer server or a briefcase and making them look like an awesome journey. One of my personal favorites being the scene where Yellow Jacket nearly gets killed by Thomas the Tank Engine. I guess Phyllis couldn't save him either. This movie was one of the few that surprised me, and it's worth the watch. As usual, debate, argue, let me know what I missed. Stay tuned for more.